Okay, 1, 2.
Okay.
Wonderful. This is Om and Shane. We are back with our 3-part series on 3 patterns we see the nice guy syndrome embodying that we would like to shed some light on. This third one is a big piece. I don't know whether we have enough time to like delve into this fully. You may need a little bit of extra help, but we kind of want to point out, which is that oftentimes it isn't just peripheral patterns that the nice guy is embodying. He has kind of made an identity out of the nice guy, right? And this is important to notice because it's easier actually to point out the patterns
Hmm.
that you are running, which are not working. But oftentimes, if you have made an identity out of those patterns, like this is who I am,
Yeah.
or this is what a good man is supposed to be like, then it feels nearly impossible to kind of pull you away from it. And this is a deep issue because identity usually has a pretty deep root and it pretty starts pretty early. Shane can fill you in on this with his background in psychology. I can just refer to 2 main phenomena I've seen how men end up in an identity of the nice guy. One thing is their nice guy identity was rewarded by uh, the feminine figure in their life, right? They got the good boy pets from the prominent feminine figure in their life, and they're like, good boy, good boy, good boy. And they're like, oh, I'm a good boy. I'm going to remain a good boy. This is what the feminine wants. If I keep being a good boy, I will keep getting rewarded by the feminine. Now, that may have worked with a mother who was probably overbearing. It is not going to work out there with the women you're trying to seduce and have as lovers. They don't want to go good boy. That good boy identity is not going to be rewarded outside of that one relationship with your early feminine, right? So if that's where you kind of anchored it in, like this is the way to be, this is the kind of man I should be, and if I'm this kind of a man, I will be rewarded by the feminine. This is like really bad programming at your root.
Yeah.
This is really deep, and this is really bad code that got written in your system early on. And I have seen men hold on to this code with dear life. The other phenomenon I've seen had this happen is oftentimes if the main masculine figure in their life was not a good example. Let's say the father was an angry alcoholic or something like that. So the boy decides, I'm not going to be like that. I'm going to be a nice guy. So he builds his identity in opposition to the warped masculine. But then he goes to the other end. And then he says, no, no, no. I saw what bad men were like. I'm going to be the opposite. I'm going to be the good man. But instead of actually being balanced in his masculinity, he kind of goes to the other end of the spectrum and creates this really harmless, really sweet, nice guy identity, which doesn't serve him well either. Shing.
Oh my goodness, so much on this, but the unmet expectations, listen, our parents are human, whoever they were are. And so, not really focusing on like getting to the core of your mother wound, your father wound, because it can be a combination of both. It could have been a teacher, that was a specific gender, but the unloving or the non-nurturing or the over-nurturing, like all of that, again, like having this awareness of like, oh shit, that's me, is really powerful. And as you were talking, I was thinking about all the little boys in class when their mother would come for open school. They would say, do this for mommy, be a good boy so mommy will be happy. Like if mommy's happy, then I'm happy. And so if that mommy of yours had anger issues or something like that, then you're going to do everything to put on a happy face so that nobody gets out of control. Because if mommy's not happy, daddy gets home, then it's a
Right.
So
That's
you're
a
nervous.
huge point.
It's
Right.
huge. It's so big.
Yeah, it's a huge point on how your specific nice guy identity was formed. It was formed to be a good boy to a particular feminine.
Right.
It got developed, it got mapped out in response to all her neuroses. And as Shine says, if she had anger issues, if certain things made her angry, your identity of the good boy was the good boy who would never evoke anger in that moment.
Right. Or if
And
she's
now you're
depressed.
carrying that whatever it was.
Whatever. I mean,
And
there's so many. Yeah.
so this identity may get formed in a tender place in a young boy wanting to please his mother, but it is warped, it is imbalanced, it is, and especially if you never grow out of it. If you form that template and you keep that template all the way into adulthood and nothing challenges it, it doesn't really work after a while.
And you know what I see, and then I just want to tap on this for a moment, is like maybe you even got a really good job, right? But you hate it because it's a good boy job and it's not creative and it's not interesting, but you're like, did I do it, mommy? And maybe your mother's not even alive, or she's alive, but you're a fucking grown ass man. Like there's a point at which, and maybe it's during this course, that even just a little teeny tap of it where you start to become independent or interdependent of your mother, of your father, so that you're not running that energy of, am I doing it? Am I a good boy? What's my role? So in this course,
Right.
you know, listen, you're not going to change overnight. We're not like fucking superheroes. You have to do the work. But even just getting a little bit of a tap on the glass that's like, I am my own person. I am not here to, my mother is not here to approve of me. Like I am on my own. My wife, my girlfriend, the woman that I haven't met yet, she's not going to make or break if I'm a good person. So becoming a sovereign being and having ambition and really taking a stand is what breaks these patterns. So I just want to give you this one thing right now, is that in your life, when you watch this, go about your life and say very clear yeses and nos. Now, I said this in the webinar, but if this is a new pattern, I'm sure you forgot it, that when someone, don't like, catch yourself if you say, I'll do whatever you want, I'm just going to go with the flow. Like yes and no, no explanation. You could smile with it, but be fucking clear. Because what happens with any kind of parent wound, it's like you're waiting to see what they're going to do in order for you to be okay. And if you carry that wound with you, you're going to be a very unhappy person because you're waiting, you're constantly waiting. And that identity of being a waiter, waiters never win. If you're waiting for something, for some answer, for some confirmation from someone else, you're empty. You're open to maybe somebody who's making unhealthy decisions. And then you're at that low, and then it just feeds that low self-esteem monster. And hence the patterns keep going.
Wonderful. Should we stop there?
I think so, yes.
Okay, so those were the 3 patterns we outlined, and we'll go into them a bit deeper in our class and hopefully shed some light into them. Thank you.
Yeah.